Good day, everyone. I'm Michael, the moderator for this webinar. I welcome everyone for today's webinar, which is Computer Software Assurance, Risk-Based Validation with Time-Saving Templates in 2025. I'm privileged to introduce our presenter for today, David Nettleton. Computer System Validation Principal David Nettleton is an industry leader, author, and teacher for 21 CFR Part 11. I would now like to hand over the floor to the speaker. Over to you, David.
Hey, thank you so much and welcome everyone. We've got a really great webinar today. It is full of information that is hard to find, even more difficult to understand. Computer software assurance is the FDA's attempt at a new term that means risk-based COTS, commercial off-the-shelf computer system validation. The good news is, no matter what term you use, CSA or CSV, it's always risk-based. And we're going to be going over those templates today. Okay, so this webinar describes exactly what's required for compliance with Part 11, the US law, and Annex 11, the European law. In this webinar, we're going to talk about a data privacy statement, which is a new SOP that all companies, regulated and not regulated, both need to have. Okay, so here's our agenda. We're going to be talking about the purpose of this little two-page law that came out in 1997. We're going to talk about the 43 system features you want to buy, features you want to configure. We're going to talk about what IT does to qualify, much less than validate, infrastructure. Validation, of course, is the big one. About 70% of compliance is your validation. All of what you do is driven by SOPs. SOPs contain fill-in-the-blank templates for all the work that you're going to do. Once you know everything about Part 11, we're then going to compare it to Annex 11, and then we're going to go into that data privacy statement, which is the newest, latest thing that every company has to do to be on the data integrity pyramid. The very top is the data privacy statement today. Let's talk about the purpose of Part 11. Why do we have this little two-page law? Well, this two-page law is the first law that says, hey, users, you need to know when the computer system is working right or wrong. Part 11 only applies to predicate rules. Well, what are predicate rules? Predicate rules are all the GxP regulations. Part 11 has this tremendously positive return on investment. What does Part 11 really mean? Part 11 means there are 4 areas of compliance. For the first time in history, the FDA in 1997 says in the Part 11 law, there are required characteristics of software. You must know these characteristics and put them in your user requirement. That Part 11 has 3 requirements. Requirement 1, user security. Requirement 2, audit trails. Requirement 3, electronic signatures. Okay, so first, all access is through role-based security. Passwords are not displayed when entered. Little stars show up in their place. Temporary passwords are unique. We want the system to notify or block what's going on there. These are the 5 pages of security standards. Now let's move into data transfer, audit trails. Okay, let's move into approval of electronic records. An electronic signature cannot be modified or copied by anyone. What are the standard components of an electronic signature? Now we're moving into the second area, which is infrastructure qualification. And now we're moving into the big one, validation. 70% of compliance is validation. Now, in the world, there are 3 standard validation models. Developer validation, number 6 is the build notes, the user validation model. We get into the risk assessment. This is what the FDA has been trying to get you to do. Let's move in to the 3rd standard model, ends in validation completion report. So, why is change control important? Because the system is validated and known to work properly. Industry has come up with a 3-level change system. 80% of the time, you're going to have a minor system change. You're going to have a configuration change, a setup change. Maintenance event. A maintenance event is an SOP. It talks about that it doesn't require validation, revalidation, how to manage changes. How does hosting change anything of what I said? So, hosting responsibilities. The users have to audit the software vendor before they buy the first time. How do we do hosting properly? Annually, you must conduct a failover and participate in it. Okay, so now we're into the 4th area of compliance, which are SOPs. You're going to train your staff on your SOPs. Everyone needs SOPs. So let's see what everyone needs in general. IT has to know the rules for backup. Quality assurance is a group of people who don't do any real work. Everyone needs SOPs on COTS validation. If you're in the software development business, if you're in the hybrid development business, or if you have to audit a vendor, you're going to need to know 9-step validation. Let's get into Annex 11, latest SOP, which is a data privacy statement. So data privacy expands on the 4 requirements of Part 11. So there's 25 questions. Number 8, how is the data stored? 15, how do you notify people that you have shared their data? How do you notify people that the data privacy statement has been updated? Finally, number 25, you got to have your SOPs in place. Now, I thank you for your time today. Thank you, Michael. Great job, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you, David. So that does conclude the session for today. Thank you everyone for participating. You may all disconnect now. Have a great day ahead. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.